Hello everyone, good morning, good afternoon. So in the last video we learned about the Java technologies and the framework which is required for any new Java developer or maybe less experienced Java developer who wants to start career with Java development. So in this tutorial we will learn about the tools required for that Java development, so that will make a life easier for any Java developer. So these are the must-have tools for any Java developer for any experience or maybe who wants to start learning a development in the Java. So without wasting a time, let's cover up the few tools which is very basic and necessary to work with a Java development. So first one is IDE. Definitely, like we have a different IDEs like IntelliJ, Eclipse, and the Spring Tool Suite and other things. But now currently I see most of the developers are using a IDE, IntelliJ IDE. So that is having both versions, like community versions or the paid versions. I personally prefer IntelliJ IDE. It has a lot of plugins, it has a lot of connectivities, it has a lot of options for a developer to integrate with a number of different things over there. So definitely IntelliJ IDE is one of the must-have tool to use for any Java developer who wants to start with a Java development. Definitely IntelliJ IDE is one of the recommended one from my side. The second one is definitely a Postman. You do a development with a REST development, like you create APIs and everything, but you want to test those APIs. It's not possible that every time you do a deploy and everything, but you can use a Swagger for that everything, but before the Swagger you want to test your APIs and everything, so you can just use a Postman where you can do API testing and you have all the configuration you can do in the Postman. It's recently has a notification feature also implemented, so it's a very basic and fundamental thing to test your APIs. So that Postman is very well supports that, and you can use the Postman for your API testing, and it also has a strong community base and it's open source. You can just download it and start using it. And the third one is the Sonar Cube. When you do a development, then definitely the quality is one of the biggest risk or anything when you do a production deployment. So definitely you need to analyze your code, whether it's a maturity, how it is written, what is your code smells and everything. And for that definitely a Sonar Cube is required. So Sonar Cube is adopted by the most of the companies across the world, so that this is open source and it has a very good community base as well. So Sonar Cube is recommended to use analyze your code and improve your development of coding, because it tells all the code smells, it tells all your errors, it tells all your cyclic dependencies, each and every error it tells. So it's makes sure that your code is safe to deploy on a production environment. So it analyzes the quality of the code. The fourth one is important one as well. So Visual VM, like we just do a development and everything, but we never bother about how our application threads are running, what is the memory it's consuming, how the profiling is happening in the JVM, and what are the memory dumps. So when you are dealing with the memory related issues, how to troubleshoot and everything, definitely this Visual VM will help you to. We can connect to the remote servers and then try to analyze your application, how it is performing on the JVM, how much memory it is consuming generally, so that you can reduce the memory, you can reduce the maximum error of heap space error or permgen error when you are generally happens when you do a deployment. So definitely Visual VM is recommended. And the Java decompiler, as you know that you create a Java class files and everything, so how you want to reconstruct that class files and everything, because you don't have, sometimes somebody shares your jars, they don't share you the code project, but you have that class files. So that time you can use a Java decompiler JD project, so that you can reconstruct those class files into Java files and use it as per required. Find Bugs and Pmd is another extension to Sonar Cubes what you want. So it will allow you to find your code smells and everything, static code analyzer. In the local environment you can configure it, and as soon as you run it, it will allow you to fix immediately there itself. So that Find Bugs and Pmd is definitely required on your local system to work with your static code analyzers. Now the Apache JMeter is an open source load testing tool. Definitely when you do any development, it will be multi-threading and environment, it will be multi-users as well. So you have to scale your application, you have to manage those infrastructure and everything. For that you have to do a load testing on that. There are different types of load testing how you want to do. You have to do spike testing, you have to do a memory testing, you have to do other testing. So Apache JMeter is a best one to use to start with your load testing. So the performance testing will be done on the site. So there are different types of performance testing, like as I said, like load testing and spike testing and other type of testing as well. So Apache diameters can be used over there as well. And the other few basic things are anyway you will have all in your machines as well, like Notepad++ and 7zip file manager. Notepad++ to analyze your JSON and everything, so that will give you formatted things. You can just use that, and you can use the plugins, and it has a lot of options for you to use, along with using the plugins, and it can do a lot of things. So I don't want to spend much time on that. And 7zip file manager, so you can extract a zip files and reduce the memory over there, and or maybe you can unzip and send it to something. So you can use a zip file manager. These are the very basic tools. I mean to say tools in the sense like you can use in your system along with your Java development. So these are the independent tools can be used for the development. So this is the basic steps or basic tools which I try to figure it out here, and I'll come up with each one in details, and how it can be used, how it can be modified, and how the plugins can be added to, or how you can use these tools with your existing development as well. So thanks a lot.